Ismaeel Ahmed joins us now, and yes, he's a legal practitioner from Abuja Studios. Morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, talking about the presidential media chat, well, as much as yesterday, he did say that the essence of that chat is not to defend the actions or inactions of government, but to cross-fertilize ideas. What did you get from the chat yesterday?
Well, thank you for having me back again, Chamberlain. Good morning. First of all, myself personally and Nigerians, I don't think we rate media chats from politicians. We rate actions, and this government has been shortcoming on actions on almost every sector of the economy and the polity as well. But to be fair, I would say that last night's media chat was one of his best performances on the media. Not the best, of course, one of his best, considering the previous media chats. At least he didn't say he didn't give a damn about certain things. So I think I wouldn't rate the chat as fantastic, but for him, I think he has become a bit more comfortable with communications.
What about in terms of the way some of those issues were perhaps broached those issues? Because you have people who thought that, because everybody can never be on the same page on this kind of matters. The issues that were raised and the way he addressed those issues, doesn't that give an implication or some sort of an inkling into the actions which you talked about to expect from politicians or from him?
I think the sense I got last night from the president's media chat was as if he was running for office rather than running an office.
How?
He wasn't specific. His answers were not very elaborate on so many issues that were bordering on Nigeria's economy, and some of his answers were actually flat out appalling, like the issue of tackling corruption. He said this administration has been, that was like a presidential thumb chesting, that this administration has been very aggressive in anti-corruption. I think many Nigerians, because the Twitter handle last night was going crazy with that headline that this administration has been very aggressive in tackling corruption. I think a lot of people disagree with that. I think on the issue of electricity, they keep talking about megawatts this, megawatts that, all these electro-technical terms. Meanwhile, Nigerians want actual, tangible hours of power supply. But they keep, bringing all this technical mumbo to justify the untold billions that has been sunk into this industry. I think there were so many issues that were raised, and quite frankly, the answers could have been a lot better than what they were given last night.
Well, anyway, another issue we talked about a little earlier with Professor Sogolo has to do with the Halliburton scam. And how did you take the president's explanation on that particular matter?
That boils back to the issue of corruption, because the president said the Halliburton and the Siemens matter started before he came into office. And the president has been sitting in this office now for almost 3 years now. And nothing, actually, the case has almost disappeared up until last night from the headlines. And then I guess we'll go through it to 2015 and another president will come and say, well, it didn't start with me, so it's going to take a longer process than is necessary. But from the moral side of it, I think I will agree with the president saying that you would rather have a lot of people go scot-free that are guilty than punishing an innocent man, because that's a crime to humanity. But it doesn't seem to be, the innocent people are not going free, certainly, because I'm a lawyer. I know how many innocent people are being incarcerated for no just reason and awaiting trial for a lot of years in a very crappy justice system. And yet the people that have a clear-cut case against them have not been prosecuted with due diligence.
Well, two things we got from security yesterday from the president. He was also asked why he did not visit the troubled region of the country. And once we heard that the government was negotiating or was going to negotiate with Boko Haram, and again yesterday he said they're still very faceless, so negotiations hasn't even commenced.
Yes, well, on the issue of this negotiations, I don't know how to rate the answer of the president. I think to some certain extent, yes, they are still faceless, but they have nominated some people, even though a lot of people question the people that have been nominated. They think there's a political undertone in discrediting some reputable individuals with the sect. But I think by and large, there's no clear-cut, streamlined pathway to this negotiation. So I think it's very dicey, the issue of negotiations actually, and I think I wouldn't fault the president's answer on that.
Okay, how do you react to his reply to the question on second term? He said he should be allowed to work.
Well, I think the president has been allowed for 3 years. You know, so the issue of second term naturally, because government is still a big business in this country. It's the major employer. It's a patronizing position to be a president. It's very, the patronage that you can dispense as a president, it's unbelievable. It's on a wide scale in this country, and that's why the issue of the seat of the presidency is still very, very, very important in this country. So going by that, I think for the polity and the diversity of this country and all the cultural dynamism and mix-up of ethnicity and religion and the regional, you know, claims of marginalization or whatever, people in 2011, the president was one of the people that signed an agreement in the PDP that the presidency should rotate between the North and the South. Those issues were brought to the fore in 2011. I think that agreement was jettisoned, and then the president ran. So a lot of people now are interested to know whether he's going to run again. And I think saying that he's not going to run is going to disturb the polity is not necessarily so. I think it just gives a clear indication that there will be calm, and then people could actually move on.